Hey Reddit, I never thought I'd be here sharing my story, but life has a way of throwing curveballs that you never see coming. I, 35 million, have been married to my wife, Sarah, 33 feet, for 8 years. We met in college and built what I thought was a solid life together. I've always been the provider, managing a successful business while Sarah chose to be a homemaker. My best friend Jake, 36 million, has been in my life since childhood. He was like a brother to me. That was until I uncovered a betrayal that shattered my entire world. Sarah and I had the kind of love people envied. We had our ups and downs, but I always believed in the vows we took. Financially, I made sure she never had to worry about a thing. She had access to all my accounts, credit cards, and a lifestyle many would dream of. Jake was always around. Family gatherings, vacations, Sunday BBQs. He was my best man at my wedding, my business partner at one point, and someone I trusted with everything. But looking back, I realized the signs were there. Subtle, yet undeniable. It started with small things. Sarah being distant, late-night texts she'd quickly dismiss, and that gut feeling I tried to ignore. Then there was the credit card statement showing expensive dinners and hotel bookings that I hadn't made. Suspicious, but not wanting to jump to conclusions, I hired a private investigator. The truth? Sarah had been having an affair with Jake for over a year. I received the photos, timestamps, and detailed reports. The worst part? One of those business trips I had taken last month. Yeah, they had used my home for their little rendezvous. I didn't confront them immediately. Instead, I planned. If they were going to betray me, I was going to make sure neither of them benefited from my success. First, I removed Sarah from all joint accounts. Then, I revoked her access to credit cards, froze any shared assets, and set up a meeting with my lawyer to discuss divorce proceedings. For Jake, I exposed him to our mutual friends and business contacts, ensuring he lost credibility. His career took an immediate hit since much of his professional standing came from our network. To make matters worse, I discovered that my assistant, Lisa, who managed my schedules and finances, had known about the affair. Instead of telling me, she covered for Sarah, even booking flights and making excuses when I asked where my money was going. I fired her immediately and made sure she'd never work in my industry again. Sarah's parents, who had always treated me like a son, were devastated when they found out. Her father, a man of principles, was so ashamed that he refused to support Sarah financially when I cut her off. She expected to move in with them, but instead, they told her she had made her bed and needed to lie in it. One of the biggest surprises was Jake's wife, Emily, 34F. She reached out to me after she found out, seeking comfort and solidarity. We started talking, sharing our pain, and eventually developed a deep bond. She was my rock when I felt like my life was crumbling, and before long, we found solace in each other's company in ways we never expected. I set up a meeting under the guise of an anniversary dinner. Sarah walked into the restaurant expecting a romantic evening, but instead found herself face-to-face with the evidence. I laid out everything: photos, receipts, and messages. She denied it at first, then begged, then lashed out, blaming me for working too much. Jake, the coward that he is, tried to act like it wasn't a big deal. But when I informed him that his reputation, job, and marriage were all crumbling because of his choices, the reality sank in. Emily, who had joined me, handed him the divorce papers she had already filed. Sarah was left with nothing. She tried to fight for alimony, but my lawyer shut that down fast, given the evidence of her affair. Jake moved out of state, a disgraced shell of the man he used to be. As for me, I took my time healing, focusing on my business, and reconnecting with the people who truly mattered. Emily and I? Well, what started as two broken hearts finding comfort in each other eventually turned into something real. We took things slow, but life has a funny way of turning pain into something beautiful. To those reading, let my story be a lesson. Trust your instincts, protect your assets, and never ignore red flags. Betrayal stings, but cutting off the people who don't deserve you, that's the ultimate revenge. TLDR, my wife cheated on me with my best friend. I cut her off financially, exposed them both, and found love where I least expected it. Karma did the rest.